welcome to the Boswell Book Festival. My name is Janet Smith and I'm the schools and the children's programmer for this festival, which is unique because it's the world's only book festival that's completely dedicated to memoir and biography. So that's writing that's either about us and our stories, or it's writing about other people's stories and other people's lives. Today's event is with Chae Strathie. Some of you might know Chae because he is an award-winning picture book writer. But today, in this event, he's going to be talking about his series, So You Think You've Got It Bad? It's a fascinating whiz back in time to see what life was like as a child in ancient civilizations. So Chae is going to take you on an amazing journey, full of fun facts, a little bit of adventure, perhaps some singing, perhaps a quiz or two. So I hope you're sitting comfortably. I hope you've got your thinking caps on, and welcome to this event with Chae Strathie.
Hello everybody, and welcome to me, Chae Strathie. I am an author and a bit of an idiot sometimes, but hopefully you'll enjoy that. And I have been asked to speak to you today by the lovely people at the Boswell Book Festival, so it's fantastic to be here. Why am I here? Well, I'm here to talk to you about history. Now, history is stuff that happened ages ago, isn't it? Yeah, and that's what I write about. But it's also stuff that's happening right now, believe it or not. You are history, or you sort of. We're living through historic times, which means big things happening and important things happening in life. As we all know, we've all been part of lockdown and things like that, which has been really boring for a lot of people, but it's still very important and very historical. But I'm here to talk about ancient history, things that happened ages and ages ago, thousands and thousands of years ago. And I was asked by the people at the British Museum, ooh, check me, getting asked by the British Museum to write some books about ancient Egypt, ancient Rome, ancient Greece, and the Aztec age. Excuse me for coughing, I've got a small cold, so you might hear me cough and things like that, but hopefully I won't keel over on the floor or anything like that, which would be quite embarrassing. Anyway, they asked me to write some books about what life was like for kids in ancient times, and to compare it to what life is like for you now. And you probably think you've got it pretty hard, don't you? You think, oh, Mum and Dad are always making me tidy the smelly socks and stinky pants off my bedroom floor. It's so annoying. And I don't get to eat sweets for dinner and lunch and breakfast and supper. It's so unfair. But if you think you've got it bad, you've got another thing coming, because back in those days, kids really had it bad, okay? So yeah, the people at the British Museum asked me to write some books about it. The British Museum is an amazing place. I don't know if you've ever been. It's down in a little town you've probably never heard of called London. London. Never been. I think it's a village somewhere. Hands up if you've ever been to London. Good. Quite a few of you have been to London. Excellent. And if you do go again, go to the British Museum and check out all the amazing historical objects and artifacts. They've got statues, they've got helmets from ancient Rome, they've got chariots, they've got loads of things, anything you can imagine from ancient times. So they said, go out, find out some facts about ancient times and the children's lives in those ages, and write some books about it. So that's exactly what I did. Off I went, searching for facts, which is what I do. And then turn them into funny books. Hopefully you find it funny. I went to libraries and I searched online and I spoke to experts. And then I was in an old shop, an old junk shop, and I found this old suitcase. Ooh, an old suitcase covered in labels, ancient Egypt, the pyramids, Mexico, Athens, Rome. Whoever had this old suitcase had obviously travelled far and wide. And on the front it said, Cleopatra Moon, the great explorer. And I thought, I wonder if this great explorer has any notes or books that they collected on their travels. And I opened it up, and lo and behold, it was full of a dead moth and some spider poo. But I also had some books. Yeah, result. I had old books full of notes about ancient times and kids' life. So whoever had this box before me, the suitcase, took lots of notes, and I was able to find out lots of things. And they had other stuff in here as well, which we'll get to. So I did. I used all of that to write my books, and here they are. So you think you've got it bad? That's the name of the series, and it's A Kid's Life in Ancient Egypt, Ancient Rome, Ancient Greece, and the Aztec Age. The Aztecs lived in what is now Mexico. So here we go. So what we'll do today is we'll have a very quick whistle-stop tour. We don't have a huge amount of time today. I've got my stopwatch here running, which if I go over time, then a bowling ball falls out of the ceiling onto my head. So I'd better make sure I hit the mark in half an hour, okay? That'll be trouble. So yeah, we're going to have a quick run through these books. I'll read just a little bit to give you a taste of what some of the facts are like, what the books are like. And then in between, we'll have a little bit of fun, do some things, sing a little song, do a little dance. So you get your dancing pants on, because you'll need them. I'll stick these here just now. So yeah, we're going to begin with ancient Egypt. So what we'll do is I'll read a little bit out. After that, we'll have a little chat, have a little bit of fun, okay? We'll have a little drink here. Okay, you ready for this? It's exciting. I'm going on Britain's Got Talent with this, okay? Going to take a drink of water. Let's warm up. Here we go. You can try this at home, by the way. It's perfectly safe. Here we go. Ready? Yes! Woohoo! Nailed it! I'm so good at that. Been practicing most of my life drinking water, but yeah, pretty good. Anyway, health and medicine in the ancient Egyptian age. Let me show you a picture. So obviously you can't see the pictures, but I will turn it around now and again so you can see it. Here are people waiting in a queue for the doctors. And the amazing illustrations were done by a fantastic artist called Marisa Maria. She lives in Spain. She's Spanish. So let's say hello Marisa, hello. And she does fantastic illustrations for all of the series. So here we go, health and medicine, some silly facts, interesting facts, hopefully, about health and medicine in ancient Egyptian times. So ancient Egyptians had plenty of reasons to visit a doctor, from natural diseases and worms which laid eggs in their legs, to nasty accidents or run-ins with dangerous animals like hippos, crocodiles, and scorpions. Hopefully you don't have to face many of those on your journey to school. Poorer people had to make do with a local person with limited medical knowledge, while better off people had access to doctors who, like modern medics, asked questions about what was wrong, took the patient's pulse and examined the part of the body that was affected. Here's some more illustrations. Somebody visiting the doctor. Hello. But what happened when you were inside the surgery? Once the doc had worked out what was causing the problem, perhaps you've been chomped in two by an angry crocodile, for instance, and were feeling a little under the weather because of that, they could work out what treatment to offer. But unlike today, there were no handy pills from the chemist. Back then, treatments may have used spices such as cinnamon or pepper, or less appealing ingredients such as mud or dung. So basically, a medicine made from cow poo. You won't get that in boots, hopefully. So next time you see a cow pat, pop it in your pocket. It might come in handy when you're feeling a bit dodgy. Another treatment included the blood of a bird, fly's blood, honey, and salt. Thanks, Doc. Suddenly we don't feel that much, we don't feel ill at all after hearing what the cure is. We'll pass on those fly's blood pills, okay? Thank you. Now, not all Egyptian remedies were medical. They believed in the power of magic and spells as well. Of course, if the blood, dung, and magic didn't cure you, you might end up on the slightly dead side. And just as a little thing, this book has little bits called Fancy That boxes with little fast facts. So here's one. Fancy that. Mothers sometimes ate a mouse to try and cure sick children. They would then put the bones in a bag tied with 7 knots and hang it around the child's neck for good luck. Can you imagine that, going to school and someone saying, "Oh, I like your new necklace, what's that?" "Oh, that's a bag of tiny mouse bones that my mum ate to make me feel better because I've got a sniffle." Unlikely to happen. Don't try it at home. So yeah, if it didn't work, you might end up dead. And if you did, in ancient Egypt, you became, if you were rich, at least, a mummy. And how did they make a mummy? Step one, your step-by-step guide to making a mummy. First, the internal organs, except the heart and kidney, were removed through a hole cut on the left side. Sounds pretty grim. Step two, the brain was then scooped out through the nose using a spoon on a stick and chucked away. Step three, salt was packed inside the body and left for 40 days. Step four, the body was cleaned, oiled, and wrapped in bandages. Yes, classic mummy. And there you have it, a recipe for a mummy. So if you ever want to do some craft at home, try making a mummy with your mummy. Not of your mummy, with your mummy. Okay, so that is ancient Egypt. Let's very quickly do a little test to see exactly how much you know about ancient Egypt. Not much from that. That wasn't. That was just a little taste. But you might want to buy that book because you don't know enough about ancient Egypt. So let's see exactly how much you do know with my amazing quiz. Who wants to be an ancient Egyptian? You. Probably not, though, given how horrible it could be. Okay, so here's 5 questions, quick fire, see how you get on. They're multiple choice, okay? Are you ready? All of you? Stop picking your nose, you, okay? Yeah, right, sit still, listen. Here we go. Question 1. In ancient Egypt, they had pillows on their bed made of A, wood, B, straw, or C, sausages. Question 2. Police in ancient Egypt used what to catch criminals? A, camels, B, monkeys, or C, hamsters? Police hamsters. 3. A popular drink for children was A, beer, B, fresh orange juice, or C, hippo bogies. What could it be? Question 4. Ancient Egyptians often ate what for breakfast? A, onions, B, pigeons, or C, Rice Krispies? Have a think. And last question. Before a mummy was wrapped in bandages, it was filled with what? We just had that. You should know this. A, salt, B, pepper, or C, jelly babies? What do you think? Okay, let's go to the answers now. See how you did. Okay, and remember, this isn't for a massive prize. It's just for fun and glory. Okay, so question 1. In ancient Egypt, they had pillows on their bed made of. The answer was wood, believe it or not. Yes, indeed, not very comfortable. Question 2, police used what to catch criminals? It wasn't camels, it wasn't hamsters, it was monkeys. A police monkey. You must have had very small uniforms. A popular drink for children was beer, fresh orange, or hippo bogies. It was, of course, hippo bogies. No, I'm only joking. It was beer. That would be interesting first thing in the morning for school. Second last question. They had what for breakfast? Onions, pigeons, or Rice Krispies? It was tasty, tasty onions. And finally, before a mummy was wrapped in bandages, it was filled with what? We know it was not jelly babies, it was salt. Woohoo! Okay, that's ancient Egypt, everyone. Quick drink of water. Still got it. Pretty amazing, eh? I can see you're all impressed. Right, okay, let's whisk on very quickly to ancient Rome. Okay, which one are we doing? Okay, let's do a very quick one. Here's ancient Rome. We're going to do just this bit here, which is a very quick look at ancient Roman gods, magic and curses. So, do you ever wish you could predict the future? It'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Right. Wouldn't it be useful to be able to know when good or bad things were going to happen? Like when you were about to stand on a Lego brick in the dark or find a sweet you thought you'd lost a month ago down the back of the sofa. Yum. In ancient Rome, they believed in omens, symbols, and magic curses. After an animal was killed in a sacrifice to the gods, which is something that they did a lot back in those days, its inner organs, all its guts and gut things inside, you know what they are, were removed so that priests could study them. They would read the god's will from the shape of the liver, for instance. If it was deformed, they thought it was a bad omen. If it was a weird shape, they thought that was a bad sign. You can try doing the same thing with a sausage, for instance. A straight sausage equals good, and a wonky sausage equals bad. Okay, go to your fridge and give it a try after this. There were other things that suggested a positive or negative response from the gods. The way a sacred chicken ate, for instance, showed whether or not the gods approved of a plan. Symbols and superstitions were everywhere in ancient Rome. Good and bad signs included owls, which may signal disaster, the sound of bells, which were thought to make childbirth, giving birth to a baby, easier, bees, which were sacred messengers of the gods and symbols of good luck, and eagles, which were thought to bring thunderstorms. So always be polite to a bee, and if you hear an owl hoot, hide under your bed, because bad things are going to happen, apparently, according to the ancient Romans at least. And here we have another one of Marisa Maria's amazing illustrations here. And here's some cows that have been dressed up because they would cover them and they would dress the cows up before carrying out ceremonies, for instance. It says, "You look fabulous, darling." And this one says, "Thanks, you too. I hope it's going to be a good party." Probably not, because we're probably going to be sacrificed, let's face it. So there we have a very, very quick taste of ancient Rome. And of course, there's lots of different things to learn about ancient Rome. In this book, we've got clothes and hairstyles, family life, ancient Roman gods, emperors, because obviously the Romans had emperors, Julius Caesar, Augustus, and people like that. And here we have emperors behaving badly, because they quite often did. And gladiators. Here we have gladiators who fought each other and fought slaves and fought wild animals and things like that. So yeah, fascinating stuff. You can get that and have a look, find out a lot more. So we mentioned ancient curses there. Let's quickly have a look at some ancient curses. I have here an ancient Roman pillowcase of doom. It's a pillowcase in which they kept ancient curses. Let's have a check and see an example of some ancient curses, okay? Let's reach inside. Pull it. Here we have curse number 7,391. Okay. This curse, if you're not careful, could come to you. Boop. So you better be good. Okay, curse 7,391. Your bottom will inflate like a hot air balloon and carry you out to sea before bursting and dropping you into the whale's blowhole. Ah! Let's do another curse very quickly. Oh, curse number 88, the classic one. Every time you sneeze, baked beans will shoot out of your nose and your pants will explode. That's what happens. And last one, pillowcase of doom. Curse number 613. From now on, you will be known as Sir Haddock Jiggly Pants. Woo! There we go. That is some ancient Roman curses. And if you believe that, you believe everything. Quickly, let's zoom on in our time machines to the time of ancient Greece. Okay, Greece, as in the country, not the slippery stuff you get in the bottom of a frying pan. So here we go. Right, ancient Greece. And what we're going to have a quick look at is myths and legends. Now, the ancient Greeks loved their stories, and they weren't like our stories today. They were very long. Children would often have to actually, sometimes they were in verse, they were poems written by people like a guy called Homer. And not Homer Simpson, by the way, completely different chap, very different. He wrote epic poems. They were called epic poems, or epic because they were so long, thousands and thousands of lines long, and children would have to learn these poems off by heart. And this isn't like learning a limerick or something which is 5 lines long. These were hundreds or thousands of lines long, and children would have to learn them off by heart. So if you think you got to bad in school having to learn a little poem, you do not, because this stuff is serious business. Anyway, they loved their myths and stories. So let's have a look at just a handful of some of the myths and legends that they enjoyed. Their tall tales, the ancient Greeks' tall tales, were called myths and legends, stories that played a very important part in Greek life, religion, and thought. The myths came from an age when there was no writing and hardly any televisions at all, very few televisions. And they were passed down through storytelling in theatres and by word of mouth. There were so many amazing adventures that we need lots of books to tell them all, but here are just a few of the best known. There's the Minotaur, or Minotaur, depending on how you pronounce it. I see Minotaur. Here he is. According to legend, the Athenian prince called Theseus travelled to the island of Crete to kill a man-eating monster called the Minotaur. It was half man and half bull, had a bull's head, you see, and was kept in a scary maze called the Labyrinth. So if you're ever in one of those mazes made of hedges and you hear something going moo around the corner, run! You never know. It might just be a cow in a day out, but it could be a Minotaur. Other famous ancient Greek legends include the tale of a great hero called Odysseus. Here he is here. He's not odd, he's Odysseus, who took on a guy called Polyphemus. Here he is here. So can you see there's something quite unusual about him? That's right. He was a one-eyed, man-eating, and probably child-eating, if you fancied the snack, a giant called a Cyclops. One day, the beast trapped Odysseus and his men inside his cave and began nibbling away at the mumbai. Clever Odysseus brought to the giant wine to make him fall asleep. Then he drove a red-hot stake, a big stick, into his one eye. Whoop! That's got to sting a little bit. Odysseus and his men then escaped by tying themselves beneath some sheep that Polyphemus kept in his cave. As the sheep left the cave, the blinded monster checked their backs, but not their bellies, which is where Odysseus and his pals were hiding, and he managed to escape. In your face, Polyphemus, literally in that case. Now, one of the greatest legends of all was that of Heracles. Now, you probably know him, or most people do, as Hercules, which was the ancient Roman name for him. He was also a legendary figure in ancient Rome. But in ancient Greece, he was called Heracles. And he was one of the many children of the king of the gods, Zeus. So no pressure there, although his mum was just a regular human. Heracles started young as a baby. He strangled 2 snakes with his bare hands. But hey, who hasn't done that as a baby? Weird. When he grew up, he performed 12 tasks, also known as labours, the 12 labours of Hercules, for a king called Eurystheus, including slaying a 9-headed water serpent, kidnapping a terrifying 3-headed dog thing that guarded the underworld, here it is here, and stealing some apples, which was harder than it sounds. It was very difficult. So that is Heracles. Now we'll very quickly do a little song about Hercules and some of his tasks. So I've got here my little keyboard. Oh, it's not a keyboard, it's a trumpet. Or maybe it's a guitar. Relatively in tune, which is unusual, but good. Let's have a drink. Excellent stuff. Look at that. I'm going to have a second glass. Getting confident. So here we go. So it's a song about Hercules and his labours, his tasks, and his favourite hobby, which was dancing, which is something not many people know. He liked break dancing and Highland dancing, and he was a fan of a bit of ballet and some tap. Wasn't so good at modern jazz. And you can join in with the dancing, okay? So the chorus goes, just the dancing bit. I'll just do it very quickly so you can hear what it sounds like. You need to bend your knees, stand up and do it. You need to wave your hands, yeah, you can do that. And you need to shake your pants, woo! Okay, so it goes like this. This is the chorus. 1, 2, people notice whenever he got a chance. Went out on his adventures. Hercules loved to dance. Ready? Here we go. So bend your knees like Hercules and wave your hands. Shake your pants. So bend your knees like Hercules and wave your hands. Shake your pants. Okay, so knees, hands, shaky pants. You got it? Okay, here we go. I'll probably make a mess of this. I always forget the words. I've got them written down and I usually forget the chords as well. So we'll just crack it on, it's fine. Here we go. Once was a guy called Hercules and he lived in ancient Greece. His dad was a cow called Mighty Goose. His dad was a god called Mighty Zeus. He had a beard down to his knees. He was strong as a bear and brave as a lion and he wasn't scared of mice. He had to do 12 tricky tests and they weren't very nice. Ready? Oh, but one thing not many people know is whenever he got a chance, went out on his adventures, Hercules loved to dance. Ready? Here we go. So bend your knees like Hercules and wave your hands and shake your pants. So bend your knees like Hercules and wave your hands and shake your pants. We're all doing that. Everyone can see some people are doing it, okay? Mums, dads, teachers, parents, grandparents, guardians, anybody. You need to be shaking your pants, okay? Watch it. Well, he had to clean some stables that were full of poison poop. He washed out all the smelly stuff, then he had a bowl of soup. Fought a scary monster that had 9 enormous heads. It doesn't bother people now, because it's really kind of dead. One thing not many people know is whenever he had a chance, went out on his adventures. Hercules loved to dance, yes he did. Ready? So bend your knees like Hercules and wave your hands and shake your pants. And bend your knees like Hercules and wave your hands and shake your pants. Yeah, okay, excellent. Last verse now. Hercules took on some birds and that might sound quite tame, but unlike hens or pigeons, killing people was their game. He stole a horse and beat a bull and caught a wild boar, and when he finished all those tests, he went off and did some more. Oh, well, one thing not many people know is whenever he had a chance, went out on his adventures, Hercules loved to dance. Last time, everyone ready? Really go for it. So bend your knees, like Hercules, and wave your hands, shake your pants. So bend your knees, like Hercules, wave your hands, shake your pants. Last time, last time, last time. So bend your knees. A lovely cowboy song like they enjoyed in ancient Greece. Hope you enjoyed that. Who doesn't like shaking their pants in the morning? Okay, we've got a few minutes left, about 3 minutes left or something like that. So very quickly, let's have a quick look at my latest book, So You Think You've Got It Bad, A Kid's Life in the Aztec Age. Get it right, Chae. We'll have a quick look at diet. Don't have long left at all, okay? So what did he eat in the ancient Aztec age? Let's look at some of the amazing illustrations from Marisa. It's a cake. What's in the cake, I wonder? Nothing nice. So what did they have? In the Aztec age, children were fed on beasties, creepy crawlies, among other things, of course, because nutritious meat wasn't all that abundant. It was considered a luxury for most folk. Poor people supplemented their diets with other stuff. We're talking slugs, believe it, tadpoles, oh yes, flies, and wait for it, maggots. I hope you haven't eaten anything recently because it'll come right back up again. People also eat monkeys, lizards, and frogs. And even if you've got a pet dog, you might want to make it leave the room right now, okay? Dogs. They ate ants, worms, and caterpillars. They were sometimes on the menu as well. So next time you feel about complaining about your school meal, don't, because you could be getting maggot and worm stew with a cider or crispy fried slugs. Yeah. Of course, it wasn't all insect grubs and unfortunate canines. There was scum as well. That's right, scum. Lovely tasty scum from a lake. Is your mouth watering yet? The Aztecs made a kind of cake from the blue-green algae, which is scummy kind of bloopy stuff on top of lakes, which was full of water fly eggs. That floated on the surface of the lake where the Aztecs lived. Boys and men scooped it up with nets or shovels and dried it in the sun before cutting it into blocks. It would then be edible for a year. That's right, a year-old cake made of fly eggs. Let that sink in. Who could possibly say no to that? Of course, there were other things that people ate in those days. It wasn't all disgusting, obviously. They had wonderful diets full of chilies, tomatoes, beans, onions, and avocados. In fact, you'd recognise a lot of what they ate, kind of like tortilla wraps almost filled with things, the kind of thing you would probably eat if you went to a Mexican restaurant or made Mexican food at home. So lots of fantastic things. That's just a tiny, tiny taste, quite a disgusting taste, of diet in ancient Aztec age. Obviously, there's a huge amount more to find out about that, and all of the other books as well. This is just the tiniest little morsel of the facts that are available in those books. So if you want to find out more, you know what's coming. Buy the books, or get them from the library, or see if you've got them in school. Ask your teachers to get them from the school library. But yeah, there's so much to learn about ancient Rome, ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, and the Aztec age, and there are more books coming out. Top secret, not top secret anymore, in the series, coming sometime soon-ish, so look out for them. But yeah, so that's history back then, but as I said at the beginning, you're living through history right now. You might think it's boring, you may think it's dull, you might wish that everything was back to normal again, but in years to come, people like me 1,000 years from now will be sitting here playing guitar made from stardust and computer chips or something like that, I don't know. And they will be singing songs about coronavirus and the lockdown and talking about your lives and about how important you are and this part of history is to them. And they'll be saying how interesting and amazing it is. And hopefully they won't be saying how you ate maggots and took pills made from cow dung and things like that. Okay, so that's all from me. It's been wonderful. And of course, I hope you've enjoyed this. Of course I do. But if you want to listen and watch more amazing authors and other people talking about their books and entertaining you, then please check out all of the other people appearing at the Boswell Book Festival. So all that remains for me to say is thank you very much for listening. I think you're wonderful and great and ace and awesome. I'm going to eat a scum cake now full of fly eggs. For my breakfast because I'm quite hungry. Okay, and so off you go. Go and shake your pants, and I'll wave my hands. Okay, bye everyone. Shake your pants. Woohoo! Bye.
Wasn't that really fascinating? Thank you so much for watching, and of course there are many other events to see on the Boswell Book Festival website, so do take a look. Now these events will also be on demand to watch, so you can come back and watch again. If you would like to buy the book that the writer was talking to you about, then follow the link from the event page to bookshop.org, or alternatively head down to the local library and find it there. Thanks so much, and hopefully see you very soon. Bye.